Beautiful souls, welcome back or welcome to The Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work with the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos and all my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Good morning. Here we are on a Wednesday. It is a wet Wednesday in Kitchener, Ontario today. The old saying, April showers bring me flowers. Good morning. Come on in. I'm happy to see everybody joining me this morning. I'm just going to give it a moment and let a few people log in because I have an interesting question that I want to ask you before I jump into what I channeled this morning because it is quite interesting. As always, my time with spirit is always interesting. Every single day, I am left with just this sense of awe with the spirit dimensions. It's magical all the time, and I'm very grateful for that magic. Good morning, welcome. Come on in. It's good to see you. Working in that magical energy. Just fills my heart and fills that space at a level that I can't really put into words. Most days, it's really hard to explain what it's like, and people ask me that all the time. What is it like working with spirit? And it's the best way I can describe it. It's just the most loving, beautiful, magical energy that you can ever imagine. Now that we have a few of you on here, I have a question before I jump into the energy update. So the best way that I can ask this question is since Monday, or maybe even just this morning, have any of you noticed a tug of war within yourself, like that push pull, push pull? Is anybody experiencing that energetically? I feel pushed this way, but I'm pulled back that way. I feel pushed this way. That tug of war within yourself. Anybody struggling with that? I'm just gonna give it a moment before I jump in. And the reason that I'm asking this is look at the yeses coming at me. Yeah, yeah, okay. The reason that I asked is when I was channeling this morning, that was the first thing I felt was this push pull. Like I almost felt like a tug of war. You know, when you're having a tug of war game and you got the rope and you're pulling back, and then you've got this push, to go forward. That whole tug of war. So when I sat in that energy, and went a little bit deeper with that here's how spirit translated it for me. It's old versus new, old versus new, and not just with ourselves individually, but collectively the physical world is right now in that push pull energy. The old ways, the old habits, the old thinking, the old all that old stuff, and it went quite back when I leaned into that old energy. I was pulled right into like ancestry stuff like 100 years ago. I literally went back into that timeline with that pull, and then with that push it was the momentum of new things coming in, new ways of learning, both individually and collectively as a physical world. That new, we're in a very old versus new. And when we really think about it, when I did a little bit of reflection, what, I could see that theme, not just for myself personally, but I could see that globally. I could see the whole new ways of thinking, new ways of doing, and new ways of moving forward, not just in spirituality, but just in general. I mean, the old ways, this is how we've always done it. This is how it's always worked. And then that new with that push with let's change our thoughts. Let's change how we're looking at that. Let's just have that shift. Now, then I went back into eclipse energy. Spirit was like transformation. This is the transformation part. And then we struggle with and transformation being both personally as well as globally. So this is like a two-sided thing. So with that pull, it's because we don't want to let go. And when we don't want to let go, there's this lack of safety, uncertainty of direction. The new is an energy of not sure where my place is, right? I'm not, yes, this feels good, but there's a whole bunch of uncertainty on the other side of new. And there's a whole bunch of what ifs, and there's a whole bunch of this, and there's a whole bunch of that. And then we start with our own selves. We start with that push pull, and we start to feel that. And if you're feeling it at an individual level, or at a global level, I'm not sure what I feel about that topic or that political topic or whatever's going on globally. When you feel that push pull, I went to spirit and I said, okay, so Now what? If I'm playing that tug of war, if I'm playing that game, I'll use the word game, that push pull game, that tug of war game. Spirit literally put me in the middle. And sometimes the neutral zone is the best place until you're more comfortable with going all the way. We don't have to step all the way back, and not all of the old has to stay in behind us. We can kind of transform some of the old into our new and stand in the neutral zone. And literally said to me, stand in the neutral zone. Where do you feel right now? And at any time, anytime that you're ready, or anytime that you're feeling a little bit more safe, or anytime that your gut, your soul says, okay, another step into something new, that's when we take it. When you kind of sit with part of your story, part of your history, part of your old, all of those different versions of yourself, when you sit in that old, there was a lot of good in it, as well as a lot of lessons, hard stuff, difficulties, struggles. The old has a bag of mixed stuff, and we're aware of the old. We're aware of those answers. We're aware of those lessons. We're aware. On the other hand, when you switch over to the new side, there's a lot over there that's unknown. So we're not quite sure on when we need to let go, so when we need to pull back, or when we need to go forward. So coming into that neutral space. So I want to talk a bit more about that neutral space. And I get it. Sometimes we have to make decisions really, really quickly, and we have to step forward into the new because we're getting that push. And when we get that push, when we get that, and I talked about that a lot. When the universe says, okay, enough's enough, you got that push, then it's that leap of faith stuff. But I'm talking about all the other floating pieces. I'm talking about when you can sit in the neutral zone, and it's okay to give yourself that time. It's okay to feel into, okay, I need to change my thought process on this, or I need to take another look, or I need to take a spiritual look, or I just need to change my lenses. But I'm going to stand in the neutral zone. And when we kind of land into that neutral zone space, I suddenly felt all this stuff being lifted off of me. I felt that the game of old versus new. There's a neutral spot where some of the old that served us and taught us, and that we want to bring with us, whether that be traditions, or anything that you really truly want to bring with you into the new. That neutral zone is a really good space to start. The neutral zone also, I really felt that whole lifting up of judgment. I felt that lifting up of shame. I just felt that I can stand here for a little bit, get my feet orientated to the space, feel into it, and give ourselves time. We don't have to have a definite answer all the time. And I was like, whoa. I literally felt myself sink back into the into the couch that I was sitting on. I literally felt that, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit of a missing piece that even sometimes I um don't always realize. I can sit or stand or observe from that neutral space with I don't have to necessarily jump now or pull back. I can just stand in the neutral zone and wait for the feelings, wait for the energy, wait for that push. I can give myself that space in that time to process it. And I can also give myself some time. And I literally felt this, you guys. I can give myself some time to heal in that neutral space. I can go neutral. I can go neutral on it, and I can just sit there and say, okay, yeah, I'm ready now, without being forced, because sometimes, I'm going to say this very lovingly, and it's for me too. Sometimes we force ourselves to be ready when we're not ready. And I think that when we go to the neutral zone space of it, to give ourselves the time to process, and we can see, when I was standing in the neutral zone of the energy, I could see the new and I could see the old, and I was able to obtain so much clarity. I promise I'm going to go back over to the comment section when I'm done with the energy update, because I can't channel and read at the same time. I also can't walk and chew gum at the same time. But no, I can, but it was just a little bit of a joke. Um, But sometimes we just need to feel that with the old, that letting go, we need to feel it in the neutral zone, that lack of safety and unsure of the direction. If we stay in the neutral zone, we get a chance to feel it. We get a chance to see it. We get a chance. We're not giving ourselves a chance all the time to adjust and tweak and come up with what feels good for us. And when you kind of look at it with the old versus the new, sometimes, and this is how spirit showed me, we will run around back to the old looking for advice. Then we'll peek our head in and get advice into the new. And then we'll bring in all this stuff. What does so and so think on social media? What does so and so think on that now? If we can just observe it, if we can just stand in the neutral zone and observe it, the clarity started to come in. And the clarity of, okay, yeah, not everything in the new where I'm ready for anyway. And some of the old I'm still processing it. Go to that neutral zone. It will really hold that space for you. It will give you that chance to be able to hear spirit or hear your spirit guides. It will give you a chance to connect with the ancestry. I know a big part of our ancestors have a lot to teach us as well that is still very, very relevant. We can take pieces of that with us, right? We can let go and take at the same time. We can take, certain things. And I think we some, not all of us, but sometimes we become very this way or this way, and we just need to go, no, the neutral zone's where I want to stand. And I loved it. I loved that perspective. At first I was a little bit uncertain of that push pull kind of energy. So if you're dealing with that push pull energy this week, if you're feeling that torn, if you're feeling that disorientation, if you're feeling that I really needed this message today, um, it's always what somebody needs, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too, but maybe on Friday. But anyway, if you're feeling that, find your neutral zone and just give yourself that space. Just give yourself to say, what comes with me and what do I need to let go of, and am I ready to take that step? Okay. Um, and really try and give yourself the time without pulling in too much other opinions, because sometimes that push pull can be what other people feel might be right for you or what other people want you to do. Just go neutral and just show up and wear beige, right? Just go new. And if that's what you have to do, like and I talk about this all the time, I'm very visual. I have to do things. So if I think that maybe not today because I was already dressed, but next time I feel that push pull, when I want to go neutral in the energy, I think I'm literally going to wear something beige. So I'm just going to show up and go neutral and wear beige for the day. It will just, for me, doing an action really helps me with the spiritual practice. You don't have to do it that way. That's just something that really works for me because it helps me keep my focus. I can be, if I'm not working on my focus, I can be very squirrel. I can. I have to work to stay out of that squirrel energy. So coming back to that neutral space, I hope that resonated with you. I am going to scroll up and just read a couple of the comments. Odin's energy. Yeah, there we go. I never even thought of that. Thank you for saying that. I love that very, very much. Energy, energy, energy. Absolutely. Okay, let's take a scroll up here. I'm also have to watch the clock because I am doing Zoom sessions this morning. So neutral zone. And when you think about that, if there's some stuff going around that you tend, if you were a person, I wasn't quite finished. Spirit just chatted with me a bit more. If you're a person that gets sucked into other people's stuff, ooh. So here's a good one. If when you get sucked in, or you find yourself judging, or if you find yourself struggling with keeping your mouth shut, you know what I'm saying. Go to the neutral zone. Spirit just gave me that as I was just scrolling up to read some comments. Go to the neutral zone. It's not my tug of war, but I can support from the neutral zone. I don't have to go either way with somebody else's stuff either. The whole observe rather than absorb, right? Always in that love, always in that light. And the post that I posted on Instagram yesterday and this morning with the two little cats staring down the world with love and light and just sending out that energy. And the one cat says, "Well, when do we stop?" And the other cat says, "We don't." Sometimes that's all you can do for other people is stand in the neutral zone, sending them love and light, wishing them well in their own journey. You can support better from the neutral zone. Anyway, I love that. Spirit just shouted that at me as I was going to scroll on to other questions. Look at all the validation here this morning. I love that. I love that. I love it. Let's see where we need to go. That's what she said. My dad is quite pig-headed. Is he ever going to accept my fiance? Um, okay. So both of you, here's a good way of looking at it. Both of you need to stand in the neutral zone. If he does, great. If he doesn't, that's his choice. I and not being accepted is a big one, and I think we've all been there, right, where we're not accepted. And I think it's part of the journey and part of the learning. I really feel that you need to continue doing the best that you both are doing with love and with understanding and with not getting into it. I also feel with this stubbornness, and I'm going to say this very lovingly from dad's perspective, from that perspective, even though it's hard to deal with, when I peel back the stubbornness and the intention, I feel that the intention there is to want only what's best for you. And I just feel like a lot of fear. What if you get hurt? What if this and what if that? When I feel that. But the way that he's going about it isn't the greatest energy because he does need to let go and he does need to step back and allow you to have your own experiences with this partner, with your partner. And the relationship does feel good. There's going to be learning, of course. Like I'm in a learning relationship. Like I think we all are always learning when we're in a partnership with other people, whether it be romantic or just friendship. We're always learning. But it's like for me, dad wants to skip any learning for you, and it's like there's no way around that. Like no matter what our life is going to navigate us in whatever direction we're going, there's always going to be learning. But the intention there is when I peel it back, I just feel like I don't he doesn't want you to go through any learning, and that's not how life works. So will he lean into acceptance? I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure, but I do feel like as time goes by, I do feel that softening there. And I just feel like I've got to just like send the soft energy. Don't feed the pig-headedness. It's okay, right? It's okay. That's my choice. I love you anyway. Just that kind of talk or that kind of energy. And if he's not, and some people are not open to hear from us, you can do it energetically. So you can, and one thing that I tell people all the time is make a paper airplane and literally write your feelings on it and then toss it across the room, visualizing it flying over to your dad, or just sending him a message. I'm happy. I'm okay. Just really work on him energetically. And I do feel some softening there, because again, I do feel the intentions are not harsh. It's just not the best way of going about it. Right. Okay. I figured that old versus new out myself too. Indeed. Very good. Good morning, Mandy Greenhill. Nice to have you. Nice to have all you here. Watching while baking bread. I feel it in my. Hope I'm reading that right. Baking bread. I felt it in my body. Absolutely. Aaron says, I love the ancestry stuff. I do too. I really do too. And with the ancestry stuff, if you've ever done some ancestry healing, it can be it's in the middle of it all, it can be a little bit mucky and a little bit hard. And one thing that I've reminded myself with the ancestry work is for the most part, generations behind us with the knowledge that they had were doing the best that they could. So I always often remind myself that because the world was very different 100 years ago when you think about that, or 200 years ago, depending on how far back you want to work on ancestral healing. But it is very interesting work. And I talk to my ancestors all the time. I always ask them to bring. I have very little memories of my paternal grandmother. And it's funny, Kayla, was it Kayla? Somebody mentioned they were baking bread. That is one of the biggest memories I have of her from my paternal side. It was walking into her house and smelling that bread. It was also mixed with tobacco smoke, but I like the smell of her, and my limited time with her. She died when I was really young. But it's interesting what can trigger back when we start thinking about ancestries, right? Kayla, wow, incredible. Finally, we need new. We do need new, but also remember that when new is being served, we often send it back. And because I have had yesterday. I had a really weird day yesterday, and I had some unexpected free time with myself, and I just found myself kind of doing some reflecting work and looking at some new. And I asked Spirit for some new ideas for the fall and for workshops. And Spirit's like, "Well, we served that up to you already, and you didn't grab the fork." And I'm like, "Okay, so let me go back a little bit." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I didn't grab the fork. So there we go. Kay Marie, good morning, Lana. I've been having some health issues and I'm wondering if you have any feeling on what's going on. Kay, I know you know this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Please make sure that you are also leaning in on the medical world for advice and guidance. Kay, just for a little bit validation for me, I feel quite inflamed. I feel like I'm a little bit swollen. I feel like I feel like I've got all this inflammation that's within me. So I don't know if that's autoimmune or any kind of fluid imbalance. But I just feel quite tight. I feel quite, and I feel it kind of everywhere. So are you been having like everywhere issues with your body? I also feel like I do have to say to you, I feel like it's going to be okay, but I do feel that the medical world is going to help unravel some of that and help you. I hope that resonates there. Celeste Jasmine, good morning, Lana. Over the weekend, I had a moment where I felt like I was having a bad panic attack, but I don't even know why. My girlfriend said it looked like a mini seizure. Any word from Spirit? Okay, so instantly when I leaned in there, what I felt, and again, please know that I always say to people, if you're having medical issues, please lean on the medical world as well. But what I felt in there with you is I felt like you've been holding on to energy. And because some of it feels quite old with that panic, and you may not even realize that you're holding on to it. Then I felt there was a bit of a trigger. So something kind of very subtle, either you read something or watched something, or there was something energetically around you that kind of triggered that knee jerk reaction of fear. Then I also felt a lot of absorbing. So I feel like you're absorbing a lot of stuff that is not yours. And one thing that I am very, very big on is releasing. Even if you're not sure what exactly you need to release, have you ever felt tension? Have you ever just felt off and you're like, I don't know why? Right? And I always say, take a look at what you were around energetically, even if it was like, I spent an hour in Costco. It can be that simple. Head out and do some grounding work and some releasing work. And I do this every single day. I do let go every single day because just by nature of the work that I do, and and sometimes the energy that I'm around, it can be heavy, and we all absorb things. I also feel like there's been this push down how I'm feeling, push down how for a very long time there. And I just feel it was like that volcano effect. So get yourself into a releasing practice, and it doesn't have to be an hour out of your day. It can be very simple, standing on your front step or out in your backyard, looking up at the sky and saying, you know what? I let go of it all, right? And the more that you practice that, the better that you'll start to feel with that anxiety and with that panic. I also feel I've got to get you to unplug from the world a little bit, unplug from social media, or unplug from being readily available all the time to take on everybody else's stuff, because I feel that panic, most of it wasn't yours. Oh, it feels like I just been swallowing stuff. I hope that makes sense there. Shy, I've been trying to feel into my back issues, but I can't figure out what I want to. Can you feel it? I feel a mixed bag here, Shy. I feel that some of it is energy, and I also feel like some of it is literally your physical back. So I feel, because I feel like here's a question for you, Shy. You don't have to answer it. Energetically, I feel that um the energy of lack of support. So the lack of support from people, friends, family. I feel like that's been something that's been going on for a little bit, and you're holding it in your lower back. Right, you're holding it. For me, that feels lower. When I go upper, because it does move for me. When I go upper, I feel like there's a physical element to it as well. I either there's been a pull in your back, or you have an old back injury that's kind of flaring, and I feel like the energy of I'm going to try and word this right. I feel like the energy of not feeling supported, because I literally have a spiritual backrest for support. That I can feel that it's yours, it's not mine. I can feel that. I can feel like I've got, for the energy part of it, I feel like I've got to kind of do some supportive work, right? With supporting yourself energetically or supporting your, and you're probably thinking, Lan, I do a lot of spiritual work. It's the support part. There's something there that is unfinished for you or unresolved energetically that you're holding there. I hope that that resonates there with you, Diane. This energy message hits home, old versus new here at work and even personal. And here's the thing, our physical world and is always evolving, and and this is how I often will put it to people, because the new part for a lot of us is like, oh, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want new, I don't want the unknown. And then I say just think back on what life would have been, and let's go back to caveman era, let's go back to that, Neanderthal era. Think about how all of the new that we have today versus that. And how did we get there? Right? It was transformation, it was growth, it was development, it was curiosity, it was, and then we went to the technology. I mean, some of us here on the live will remember the dial phone on the party lines, right? Think about that. And now we walk around with this attached to us, and then we can be in contact with the world all day, every day. So when you think about that, how did we get there? We got there through evolving, through transformation, and with that came good and not so good energy, right? So when you think about in order to continue for the next 100 years, in order to continue that, and there are the younger people that are on today are going to, when us older folks are on the other side, they're going to talk about, I remember the cell phone, and now we're talking in a different way. And then in probably, I don't know exactly the timeline, but maybe in 100 years, there's going to be telepathic communication, and they're not even going to know what a device was unless they go back into history books and looked at it and say, what were those guys doing, walking around like this with a cell phone, or walking around like this, right? It's evolution, right? And it's growth. So in order to grow, sometimes some of that growth, we do struggle with understanding why, and the whole heck no, I won't go, or the kicking and screaming. Neutral zone, open to learn. Oh, and when you stand in the neutral zone, you're open to learn, right? All right. It's a fascinating topic. I was very excited when I got that download this morning. Uh, this message, Kayla's message is hitting me hard today. I try to plan my immediate future, but at the same time, spirits are showing me stuff from my past. Specifically, they make me think about a specific person that I think is my twin flame. Okay, so when we see this, when we get, and sometimes it's just a memory, and sometimes it's some healing work that needs to do, but sometimes spirit is trying to show us the lesson. So when you think back, who posted that, Maria? When you think back to that specific person that you think was a twin flame, um, when you think into that for a moment, is there a lesson in that relationship that either keeps coming up for you, or that you're struggling to heal, or that you haven't let go of? Like, where is that? And essentially, and I think we, in the physical world, we overcomplicate things way too much. And especially in spirituality, there is way too much complication. So, you're using the term twin flame. So for those of you, I'm going to give you my interpretation of that. It's essentially a soul that you've had a contract with that was not meant to be long term, and there was a lot of learning brought in twin flame relationships. We do label things, we do try to put things in boxes with relationships and twin flames and soulmates. Essentially, it is a soul contract that you had with someone, and not all soul contracts are meant to last a lifetime. And quite often soul contracts do connect to many past lives, because the lesson wasn't learned in past lives, so it comes forward then. So I get that we need to kind of like put a label on things or a title on things, but essentially it's a soul contract. All right, there we go. uh Joe, message from your husband. Suddenly had this great big need to. My face got really animated, so I don't know if he was very animated in his face, but he's encouraging you to light up more, to smile more, because that's literally how he is. Like they're happy and so content over there, but he's trying to give that to you, that contentness, that big smileness. So try and wear his smile Ooh, I love that. Ooh, spirit's really sharp today, or I'm really in there today, one or the other. Tamara, I'm so glad I get to join for a few minutes. I decided I needed a morning minute for myself. I love that. And here's Lana, amazingness. That is amazing. I love that so much that you're giving yourself a morning minute. And what a beautiful way. I mean, wow, I really like that. I also want to go back to Maria about planning. I try to plan my immediate future. I love that you're staying present moment with that. By the way, we do have to have a bit of an idea of what we want in the future. But I love that you're like your immediate. The power of now is really big there, and I always really work hard on staying very fluid with it, very allowing with it. Okay, if my dad doesn't accept my fiance, I'm going to have to make a difficult decision, and I don't, and it won't favor my dad. And fair enough, you do need to move forward in your life. I get it. Many of us here in the live or on the chat probably can say, yeah, we've had to step back, or in order to go forward in our life. Just always do it from that loving space. I love you, but I need to live too, right? Smash that like button. Thanks so much. Um, Alina, does spirit feel I'm on the right track with my health? Absolutely. I got a heck yeah with that. Very much on the right path. Katarina, just thinking about these things this morning. Do my guides have any messages or advice about my spiritual growth? I've been seeing the synchronicities and feel so tired lately. That tired energy is for a reason. I need to get you to allow yourself some time to rest and to let go. I also have to really say to you, Katarina, is you are doing so well. And I think sometimes you struggle with really feeling into that. You are, and I'm hearing that you are doing so well. And I gotta be a little bit more gentle with yourself. I even felt my voice softening when I wanted to, when I wanted when I need, when it was time to respond to you, when I took a listen. I even needed to soften my voice and soften that energy. Be a little bit softer on yourself, just gentle, very gentle energy. I just need to say, okay, I'm tired today. I just need, and whatever break you can give yourself, I need to say it's okay. It's very much okay. And the energy of the physical world, I mean, let's be honest, it's very exhausting. It's exhausting to function here. I say that to spirit all the time. It's exhausting to function here. So when I feel that my spiritual practices need to be turned up or changed, Kayla, I get really sucked in other people's energy and opinions. It's hard for me to let go sometimes. So, Kayla, observe rather than absorb, and I would start talking to yourself that way. So, for example, let's say you and I are going to have a conversation. Before we even just have our rendezvous, just remind yourself whatever Lana's got to say today, I'm going to observe it. And if it feels right to me, I'm gonna take a step into that energy. If it doesn't feel right for me, I'm just going to observe it. Everyone is I'll use the word entitled, but or allowed to have their own opinions. What resonates with them doesn't have to resonate with me. I'm also very careful, Kayla, with my energy that I don't. I do bubble myself so that it's not drained, right? Because I tend to drain myself. I'm going to give and give and give. And I also won't go into resistance. I won't go into, if I disagree with somebody, I will simply say, I know I respect your point of view on that. And I won't go into battle. I won't. I've learned that I am an Aquarius and I am a redhead, and I have learned that stubborn. I'm going to go in there and give it to you as my opinion. I've learned that I don't need to do that. I truly don't need to go in there in defense mode, right? And for the most stuff, I mean, if it was something big, I would use my voice. I would not let anybody verbal, like abuse me. But I just don't dance, and if I don't agree with it, I'm not going to dance in it, and I'm not going to unless they ask. If you ask me what I think, then you might get it. But I don't in a loving way and I always make sure I'm standing in that, but I'm very careful energetically. It's kind of like that pick your battles. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Even when and I have had very, 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 very little, and also a lot of varies, but I've had very little negativity on any of my social medias, and it's because I protect it. I protect it energetically, and I truly am, and I truly am okay if somebody says doesn't resonate with me. Yeah, I mean, you're cuckoo. I'm okay. Totally. I have that much confidence in myself. I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to go into resistance. I don't need to fight. Right? I don't need to fight. So that's something that will help Kayla is other people's opinions and energy. That's theirs. That's their journey. That's their experience. That's their learning. And I don't get in your lane. There it is. Right back in, I'm driving my own little energetic car with my own little belief systems, and that's the momentum, and that's the kind of mindset that will help you get through that. Tabitha, I have many squirrel moments. Yeah. I'm okay with the squirrel moments when I'm channeling and when I'm working, but it's the physical world because I wanna go back to the spirit world so often. It's like, "Oh, squirrel." I'm gonna go back. Oh, look, a spirit sign, right? Yeah, it's and, I also get very distracted in the physical world, because I'm pulled in the spirit dimension so often. So I'll start a task like, "Oh, today's a good day to clean the house," and it's like, "Oh, look, a comfy spot to go meditate." And or, it's that's just the land of things. I've had, and I think that's been one of my biggest hurdles that I've had to really learn is balancing the physical world and the spirit dimensions. I didn't realize I was absorbing so much last week and got burned out going in yeah, go neutral. Love that. I love how you're taking this and really making it your own and putting it into what works for you. I love that. And as always, feel free to add to that. If you've come up with a way of going neutral and as a spiritual practice, go for it and share it so that other people hear, share it. Share away. I'm always so good with that. Um I do have to watch the time, you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna grab a few more questions and then Friday, I thought I would use Friday mornings live as an Ask the Medium session. So if of course if Spirit does have an update for me, I will share that briefly, but I'm gonna hold most of the segment session on Friday for questions or comments or anything like that, or anything that you want me to talk about in the future. I'm gonna leave it wide open as an Ask the Medium for Friday. Okay, you guys. So if I didn't get to your question, I'll be back on Friday. Hopefully you're able to come. Elizabeth, a message from my spirit team. Elizabeth, I wasn't even finished reading that, and I was suddenly on a beautiful, beautiful buffet table of energy, of spirituality, and I can really see how well that you're doing. Your spirit guides are showing me how well that you're doing with leaning in and trying things and stepping out when it doesn't really resonate with you. And what they're showing me is that buffet table is getting longer. There's an offering of more stuff to try, and I feel that you're doing really well with. I'm gonna try that once, twice if I like it. I feel like you're really good at taking what resonates with you and leaving the rest, and that's coming into some expansion. So there's going, whether that be workshops or retreats or just reading. It doesn't have to be the great big stuff either, you guys. Learning doesn't have to come with great big stuff, and it doesn't have to be that way. I feel you coming into that, Elizabeth, more and more and more. And I also feel that that trust within you is and it probably feels slow to you. It probably feels like, oh my gosh, I'm slowly learning to trust. I just have to say to you from them is your trusting is growing quite quickly. Like you are really gaining that momentum. So good for you. Enjoy your buffet table. Enjoy it. Enjoy that test tasting and that expansion of new things, and new possibilities. It's an absolutely glorious space to be in. Lucia, lately I've been feeling an overwhelming feeling of gratitude. The universe knows exactly what it's doing to awaken me. There are times, and I understand this overwhelming feeling of gratitude because there are many times during my week I will just be going for a walk or I'll be hitting. There's a forest near me that I frequent quite often, and literally I'll just be walking and having a good time listening to the birds, and all of a sudden I just have this overwhelming feeling of gratitude to the point of where I'm just crying. And it's such a joyful cry and it's such a grateful cry. Absolutely, the universe knows what it's doing, and you are also already awakened. You're just becoming more aware. So, I really feel that like your awareness to the vibrations and to the energy, but that overwhelming feeling of gratitude puts me to my knees several times a week. Mm, yeah. It's just profound. It's just, the universe and energy and the spirit dimensions, it's just so profound. And I get that overwhelming gratitude. It's just absolutely beautiful. Okay, thank you, Lana. I've been experiencing a lot of inflammation. There we go. Abdominal and chest. Okay, so thanks for your validation on that, Kay Marie. I do feel that it's going to get sorted out. I really do. I feel that you're well on your way. I also feel, and again, this is not medical advice, but I really feel I need, and some of it is food related, not all of it, but I do feel like your body's having a physical response to some things as well. Just keep an eye, Kay Marie, on hidden stuff, like hidden processed stuff. I feel like it's hidden. Like I don't feel it's like oh, I'm gonna eat this and I know it's bad for me. I feel like there's some hidden stuff there. So and it's inflammatory stuff. So have a look on inflammatory, whether it be, I don't want to use the word chemical, but additives or like I just feel like I've got to really put that under the microscope, because I feel like it's like very hidden. It's like, oh, I didn't even think of looking at that. That's how it feels. Ego, the living planet. First, I love that handle, by the way. First time in here for the live. Welcome. We are all welcoming you. I've been watching your live replays for a while. Happy to be here. Any wisdom from spirit? We truly do hope you feel welcome here, and I'm really grateful to have you post a question for the first time. So I am going to kind of just lean in there. If you can just give me a moment, I just want to tap into your spirit council. Okay. Um, right around 4 months ago, so count back in time. So if I'm closer to 5 or closer to end of 3, but right around the 4 months ago is kind of where I'm kind of jumping in at. I feel like there was a new spirit guide that kind of came from your council table to kind of join you in this physical world. And I feel tree energy. I don't like and I don't think I have ever, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever felt like that spirit guide to, like, tree energy, that strong, rooted. I'm learning here on this one myself as well. And I feel like it was like that strength. Either you finally tapped into deeper strength or you needed strength and that support. And I feel like it's the craziest thing, like this walking tree with you. I love that. I mean, I'm grateful to be having this experience with the energy from your spirit council. I also feel a lot of nature around that base of that tree. So around you, around like your knee area and your feet area, I feel a lot of nature energy and nature spirits. A lot, and I'm also hearing a lot of drumming. And I feel like the energy of nature and that wild energy. I've got to get you a little bit more deeper into that. Like I feel like I just got to get you, even if it's like nature sounds in the background as music, or I feel like the nature is coming in to help with, and we're always all healing, every single one of us. But I just feel it so healing. I feel it so connected. I just feel that growth there. And there's something about 4 months ago, because the number four like is behind me. So for me, that's 4 months ago. So there's got to be something in there. Ego, the living planet. Isn't that interesting that I picked up on a tree? I also feel and I'm not quite done yet. They won't let me move past your name. When I do tap in there, I do have a spirit guide that's been with you more than 2 lifetimes. I feel like I've got to go closer to three, like 3 lifetimes ago. It's like a guide that's always been like, and I do feel it might be even more than that. That I had to use the word always been with you. I've always been with you as I is how I'm hearing it. I also feel like that pillar strength. So like that ancient Roman pillars, those big pillars, or Greek pillars, those great big pillars is like the energy of the spirit guide's legs. And I feel like that strength. So I have you and I feel like it's more ego of the living planet. I feel like it's more like you've needed more strength on your journey than a lot of people. I just feel like that strength comes in. There's also a lot of magic in your hands. So I don't know if you work as a healer, or if you build things with your hands, you're there's I can see like magic and you like magic with your hands. And I also feel like with this Roman or warrior, I don't feel it as a warrior though. I don't feel it as like warrior, like, I feel it as strength is how I feel it. I couldn't lean into that fighting. I felt it more of a strength energy. I also feel that heart space, man. I could snuggle up there. That heart space with you is so loving, and it's protected yet open. And I love how you've done that. I love how you've done that. So it's an open protected, and that is, I love that. So it is, here's how I'm kind of seeing it. I'm seeing it like like that heart space with this beautiful castle kind of built around it with protection, in your heart space in there. But the castle doors open. Ah, that is delicious. That's how they're showing it to me. So I just feel like it's protected yet open, and I really do, I really do appreciate how they're showing me that. I also feel like with this, I'm leaning in a little bit here, Living Planet, with some of how they're working with me. Does ancient times really resonate with you? Do you connect to like ancient times? Like, are you one that likes to watch history channels or ancient times? And I feel it a little bit deeper. Like I just feel there's just this an ancient connection there with you, with how they're working with you, and how they're showing me you. So I'm just curious there as to why they're kind of showing that to me. I also feel a lot of wise old energy about you. I feel like there's such and wise old energy. I also feel like I've got a hat on my head, so I don't and I feel that from the other dimension. So father figure. The month of September is very significant. Anniversary, birthday, or passing. I don't know why I'm in September, but I have this hat, and that's literally all I can see is this hat on his head. I hope that resonates there with you. And thank you very much for joining us and for being part of our community. And we are very happy to have you here. And look at all the people saying welcome. Welcome to our loving. I love that so much. Let's see. Thank you so much. The open protected is something I've worked hard on. They're showing that to me. And I've always been open to the nature spirits ever since a child. And I work with my hands because I'm an artist. That's the magic. Oh, I just got goosebumps. Like, I mean, every hair on the back of my neck just stood right up. Okay, so I want to dive in a little bit deeper in that with that if you have another moment. And I'm a huge ancient history buff. um I wear a hat a lot. Okay, but so what I just want to kind of pick this apart a little bit here. Now that I've got some validation, I literally got goosebumps all over me, you guys. Um, well done with the self work. Well done. I do firmly believe that using protection is very different than being guarded or closed, right? Using protection is like tapping into your spidey senses, like like that protective energy and being wide open. I love that. The fact that you are an artist, I mean, I can't draw a stick man, and I paint like a 3-year-old, and I'm okay with that. That's my gift. To paint like a 3-year-old. But art and working with your hands is magical. There is healing in artwork. There is, spirit guided in artwork. It is a gift. It is creative. I love that. There is so much magic in your hands. And I when I went there and when I go back there, I feel like, and I get it, I get the whole ego part, but I feel like you are so gifted art wise than what you may fully are aware of or openly share. But man, well done you. I love that so much. Um, One more question though for you, Living Planet, is, and I have to go back in there. Father figure passed in the month of September. I mean, I feel that father energy. So father figure can be grandfather. The month of September as well as the month of November, December, January, February. I had to count. Is also very significant. Significant anniversary, birthday, or passing. I'm also aware of my chest and my lung area. So did he pass of a chest or a lung? Yeah, like I feel it more along. I'll be honest with you because my lungs are burning, so I can feel that there. I feel like he's working with you. So if you're not sure who this is, he's working with you, and I keep seeing just this hat on my head. So I hope that resonates. And is there a farming connection to your aunt? And I feel like a strong connection because I'm suddenly out on the land. I will leave that there. Let's see what else he's got to say. Ancient history buff. So, oh yeah. So let me go back into this. I really gotta go. I gotta be on Zoom soon. Um, History buff. So when I feel into that, I feel that in you, I think you used the words. Let me just go back there because I don't want to put words in your mouth. Um, with that being a history buff, I feel it deeper than liking history. I feel it deep. And I also feel that it's very much past life memories. I feel so anything that you are really pulled to history wise, I feel your soul remembers a lot. So that's why there's such a history buff reference there. Um it's past life memory. Yes, some of it is interest, but a lot of it is also past life memory. I've been watching Haley for years and she connected me to you with your collaborations. Grateful for everything. Oh, bless that little Haley Reese. Bless that Haley Reese. I love her so much. So thank you for very much for joining us. Look at all you guys. I found you through Hales. Haley and I have to get together. It hasn't been for any other reason other than our schedules have been very, very different for quite some time. And I always trust that. I mean, I just have to trust it. I am in touch with Hales, usually once a week. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But we haven't had a chance to really pull together from the collab to collaborate. It's just been hit and miss schedule wise. And we just trust it. Like there's no other reason other than our schedules clash. Let's see what we need to know here. You guys can help me out. The rabbit or the hare. I don't know why I had an animated voice from Bugs Bunny in that in my head. I'm not sure whose voice it was, but I had to come at it with that. All right, so the hare or the rabbit. The readings today, I'm going to tell you, whoever's booked to see me today, the readings today are going to be something. They usually are something, but there's just something spicy today. Whatever project you're working on, move quickly and remain flexible. You may be fooling yourself about some venture or relationship and not paying attention to the obvious signs. Pay close attention to the cycles of the moon and coordinate your activities such that it corresponds with the moon's waxing and waning, release, receptive stages. You will be required to make some unexpected and rapid changes in a direction in the coming days. Okay, noted. Noted. That's really interesting because the one of the workshops that I channeled yesterday involves a full moon. So I was kind of like, whoa, okay, maybe that's some validation there for me with what I need to do. Thanks everyone for have an amazing day. Warm welcome. Yes, I am usually here Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If I cannot make it, I usually post it on the community page because there are things that pop up for me sometimes. And I do on every live, I do say when I'm coming back. I will see you all Friday morning. Ask the Medium will be the theme. So any questions, have a think. Have a think. And it can be, questions about spirit. It can be questions about anything at all. If I can answer them, I will. If I cannot, I am very open and honest about that. I'm very open and honest. As always, I'm wishing you all love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. You guys take care.